very delighted to be leading a week-long series this week on the practice of cultivating gratitude. The title of the week is Dayenu, the practice of enough. The reason we're focusing on that as a theme this week is because we are in week 5 of the Omer, the 7-week period between Passover and Shavuot. And that week is the week in the Kabbalistic framework, the week of Hod, which literally means splendor and glory. And it is associated with the quality of Hodaya, of gratitude. Just to set the stage where we are, last week was the week of Netzach, which is the week of kind of energetic involvement in the world. We might analogize that to the work of being engaged in the ongoing work of creation, however you understand that, from the mundane to the grand, just acting in the world to get things done and to partner with the divine in the ongoing work of creation. Hod this week is it's a kind of the yang to last week's yin. They are complementary energies. Last week Netzach is kind of a driving forward energy, and this week Hod is the energy of simply being able to be still. So this week we are practicing coming to a stop, coming to stillness, really being present in the moment. I would say that it's really analogous to kind of Shabbat practice of letting go of our inclination to be productive, to make things other than what they are, to check things off our list. This is just a week of being with things exactly as they are, kind of a week of radical acceptance of ourselves, of our lives, of the world exactly as it is. That's not to say we necessarily love everything about ourselves, our lives, or the world. There are other qualities which we're dealing with over the course of the Omer that are going to help inform how we should respond to that which is problematic in ourselves, in our lives, and in our world. But an element of doing so involves the capacity to be with and to be grateful for things just as they are also. That has to be factored in. So this week we are going to, as I said, focus on cultivating our capacity just to let go of control, to be still, to find a place of stillness within us, to be able to see things clearly as they are, to be able to allow them to be as they are, and maybe even to feel some joy in things as they are, vis-a-vis ourselves, our lives, and our world. As I'm saying these words, I'm having a sense with internally and externally that this can be pretty challenging. There might be something pushing back, but things aren't the way they should be. So again, I'm just going to throw this caveat. Let us stipulate that there's room for improvement in ourselves, there's room for improvement in our lives, and there's room for improvement in this world. And part and parcel of our work as beings made in the image of the divine is to engage in that work of tikkun, of repairing that which needs to be repaired. But part of that work of tikkun involves having the ability to appreciate, to allow things to be as they are, and to appreciate things as they are. So another way of maybe saying this is that last week, the week of Netzach, we really give free rein to our dissatisfaction, our capacity to be dissatisfied with things as they are. We might say we as a people are pretty good at that, pretty good at being dissatisfied. It's a major theme that runs throughout Torah. But we also have a pretty good capacity to be satisfied, to feel full, to feel grateful for things as they are. That is our focus this week. So I invite you to set an intention to put to the side for the moment dissatisfaction, unhappiness with things the way they are, And let's see if we can focus on a sense of gratitude for things being as they are. Okay. I mentioned I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to thank Kat for putting the link to what I'm about to share, and just want to set the stage. But before we do that, let's take a moment right here just to, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. As you're hearing my voice, I want to invite you, I'm going to ask you the question of how much of you is present right now. Some of you may be taking notes. Some of you may be wrapping up things you've been doing. I'm going to invite you to set it all down. No need to take notes. No need to record anything. All of this is recorded. I want to invite you to really come into a sense of presence and attention, probably to me, but also to where you are right now. And I'll invite us into a settling practice just for a few minutes, which is a practice we usually do actually before we officially begin on these daily meditations. So I invite you to take your place. And if you're comfortable to close your eyes, that's great. If you would prefer to just kind of soften your gaze so that you have a soft focus, nothing is really distinct in your vision. Just letting go of distraction. And if neither of those are available or appealing to you, the invitation is just to bring your attention inward, away from the screen, away from whatever is going on around you, and just to check in with yourself right now. Just to take stock. How are you in your body today? How's your body doing? You might just do a simple scan to see the state of affairs of your physical being. Without rushing, with nowhere to go. And if you have judgment about what you're observing about your body or your physical being today, don't push that away. Just note it, say, well, I'm kind of critical, and just put that to the side. Just moving into a stance of being a curious witness instead of a judge. Can you be a curious witness about your body today? And then we can shift into applying that same approach to our emotional life. We can assume we all are having some feelings. What are your feelings right now? It might be really hard to untangle those. See if you can notice. Might be guilt, might be fear or anxiety, might be shame, might be joy, might be gratitude, might be anger, or any others that come up for you that you can label. And once again, we're just bearing witness to our emotions, just observing them as they are, with no shoulds, no judgments. You might be a little surprised. Wow, I feel a little angry. Wow, I feel a little anxious. Wow, I feel a little happy. Didn't notice that before. What is present for you in your emotional life? From there, we move into our state of mind. I like to analogize that to the weather. How's the weather up in your head today? Is your mind agitated, shaken up? Is it clear? Is it foggy? Is it bouncing around? Is it partly sunny, partly cloudy, mostly sunny? What is your state of mind? Is it settled, agitated, or somewhere in between? And then finally, we observe our spiritual state today. However you understand that. For some, it might be feeling a sense of connection to the divine or to God, or others, it might be kind of vague, but how would you answer the question, how's your spiritual state today? Might be, answer might be, gee, I forgot I had one. Or, wow, I feel very present to it. It feels very accessible. I'm in that place, or I'm very far from that place. No right answers here either. We're just observing. If you're comfortable putting a hand over your heart space, you can just offer yourself a little bit of gratitude and compassion for how you are right now. How you are right now. Receive 5 breaths deep into your belly to fill your chest, really renewing deep breaths, 5 of them. As you release each breath, let yourself settle. Feel a little bit more anchored in your seat. Releasing into the ground, feeling held. Feeling a little more centered. And then as you're ready, slowly open your eyes, or if you prefer not to, you can keep your eyes closed. That's fine. Or maintain the soft gaze. Or keep your attention focused inward, staying with the sensations of the body, awareness of your emotions, awareness of your mind state and your spiritual state of your soul. I'm going to share my screen, but again, if you prefer to keep your eyes closed, that's totally fine. I'm going to just share a few things, and you'll be able to follow along. Okay. So, as I mentioned, this week we're practicing Dayenu, the practice of enough. Nice to have this connection to Pesach, to Passover, and to the Seder, where, of course, we sing Dayenu, just to carry that thread forward from Passover and to notice where we are into the 5th week post-Passover. We have a teaching in Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, which is a text that is traditionally studied during this period of the Omer, in which Rabbi Ben Zoma teaches Ezehu Ashir, who is rich? Who's a rich person? His answer is Hasamech Bechelko, one who is happy in one's chelek, one's portion. And then he quotes a proof text, as it says in the Psalm, when you eat from the work of your hands, you'll be happy and it will be well with you. And he interprets you will be happy to mean you'll be happy in this world and it will be well with you in the Olam Haba, in the world to come. But I just bolded the passage, the essence of that teaching. Happy with one's portion. Happy with one's portions, one chelek. Chelek really means like one's part. What's your part? Can we be happy with our part? And then we have just the beginning of the song, which we all know from the Seder, Dayenu, which means it would be enough for us. Dai means enough. Dayenu means enough for us. I didn't put all of Dayenu here, but Dayenu consists of 15 stanzas, and it has three parts. One is about the miracles in Egypt. The second is about the miracles in the wilderness, and the Israelites travel through the wilderness. And the third set of stanzas, the last five stanzas, are about closeness and relationship with God. But the remarkable thing about it, even though it's a song that we sing and it's a fun song to sing, it's one of the songs that many people, if not most people, know and can participate in. It's easy in the singing of it to lose sight of, well, actually, what are we singing about here? Aside from the specifics, each stanza describes a particular divine action and concludes by saying, if that had been all of it, Dayenu, that would be enough. And then it goes to the next, builds on what came before. It says, oh, and if that had happened, that would have been enough. And the song could end there. Oh, but then there's another thing that happened. Dayenu, that would have been enough too. So it sets up this progression of singular moments or experiences that's punctuated by Dayenu. That's enough. This moment, this experience, this thing is sufficient. And then it moves on to the next and the next and the next. So our friend and teacher, Rabbi Sheila Peltz-Weinberg, in her commentary on this, in the Reconstructionist Haggadah, A Night of Questions, a Passover Haggadah, written by Rabbi Joy Levitt and Rabbi Michael Strassfeld, Sheila writes this about Dayenu. I just think it's a very powerful teaching, and this is why I chose to frame our week of practice with it, and I wanted to lead off the week with this. And then we will go back into our practice. Sheila writes, in the affirmation of Dayenu, we are fully present to the preciousness of each act of redemption and care. I'll repeat that. We are fully present to the preciousness of each act of redemption and care, dividing the sea, leading us across, caring for us in the desert. We receive each moment with love. This acceptance allows us to move to the next moment and receive the waiting gift. When we greet each moment with conditions or judgments or expectations, well, this isn't quite where we need to be, or wait a second, this is not what we were promised, or hey, what's next? That is, when we are dissatisfied, I'll just add a gloss onto Sheila's teaching there, our expectations keep us tense, constricted. We are not free. We are not able to receive the next moment. Our fantasies about the past and our desire to control the future cut us off from the wonders of this moment and shut us in a prison of disappointment and suffering. Dayenu is a great liberator. It is a jolt into the presence of awe, compassion, attention, and freedom. So I'm stopping the share just to stay with that for a moment. For those of you who have stayed with your eyes closed, stick with it. And if your eyes have been opened, I want to invite you again, just to hear the sound of my voice, and then we'll move into an extended period of practice together in silence. Again, coming back to the breath, maybe choosing an anchor for yourself for your practice. Could be your body, could be your sensations in your body, feeling of the soles of your feet against the floor, or your seat in the chair, or the backrest, or the whatever is supporting your back. And letting your hands rest in your lap in whatever position is comfortable for you. Could be that. It could be your breath, just following the inhalation and exhalation. watching the breath rise and fall like a wave. Your anchor might be the sounds in the room or the sound of my voice. Whatever helps you stay as present as you can be. And here are the suggestions for practice for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. We're here to cultivate stillness. We have no need to go anywhere or do anything, just to be with things exactly as they are, to have a little Shabbos together. So imagine you're sitting in a boat, maybe a rowboat or a canoe or a kayak, on a perfectly still day, no wind at all, on a body of water that is so still, it just mirrors the sky perfectly. Not a ripple. And you are not moving at all. The world around you is still, quiet. No motion. See if you can bring that same stillness to your inner life. Notice restlessness or vibration or movement internally. And as you breathe, see if you can let those vibrations inside you just die down a little bit, subside a little bit. If you can still the waters that are inside you. Me menuchot, restful waters, still waters, in the words of Psalm 23. Let your waters be still. Let the water that's been sloshing around, just like you were carrying a bowl full of water that was spilling over and sloshing around, just set it down with you and let that settle in your mind, in your emotions, in your body. And as we move into silence, I invite you to call to mind and hold in your mind the single word, Dayenu. Each moment, each breath, keep coming back to Dayenu. I am enough. This is enough. This moment is enough. And this moment is enough. And this moment is enough. Let's sit together. We're practicing being present to each moment as it comes. Dayenu. This moment is enough. This moment of aliveness, this breath, this sensation, hearing this sound. And maybe we can bring a little bit of joy into the picture, not just acceptance and allowing things to be as they are, but being samech b'chelkenu, rejoicing in our portion, rejoicing in each moment as our portion by turning the corners of our mouths up a little bit into a little smile. Don't have to force anything, just experimenting, seeing how that might shift things. And again, a hand over the heart, if you're comfortable, maybe two hands, staying present to each moment as it arises and responding with Dayenu. We are all sitting together in stillness on a body of completely still water and letting the stillness around us still the noise, the distress inside us. Practicing stillness together. Just a few more minutes of sitting together on this still, perfectly still lake, treasuring the stillness and maybe noting any restlessness, discomfort, bringing some compassion to that, kindness. Welcoming each moment with Dayenu. This is enough. This is enough. This is enough. And as our practice for today comes to a close, I want to invite you, if you're comfortable, just to let your head and upper body lean forward in a little bow as an expression of gratitude to each other for sharing this experience and practice together. Couldn't do it without each other, without dedicating this time and space. Practicing enoughness. May our practice of stillness and Dayenu, of enoughness and gratitude, bring healing both to ourselves, to our people, and to our world. And if your eyes have been closed, you can slowly let them open, or you can stay with that practice if you like. And we close our practice by offering an opportunity for those of you who are in mourning or observing a yahrzeit, or if it's your custom to participate in the mourner's Kaddish, to do so. And if you'd like to, you can put the name or names of those you're honoring in the chat box now or after we recite Kaddish. And if you're not reciting Kaddish, just to offer your presence and compassionate support for those who are by staying present as best you can. Thanks to Kat for sharing the words of the Kaddish on the screen. And if you're reciting them, I invite you to join me by rising in body or in spirit, and you can unmute at this time. Yitgadal, Dash,
Rabbi.
Yama, Chaye Kol Beit Yisrael, Agala B'Zman Karib Hishmei Rabba Mevarach Olam Ulamei Amaya Yitbarach V'Yishmach V'Yitman V'Yitnaseh Hadar V'Yameh V'Yitadar Eila Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Shutata V'Nechemata Amiran Ba'alma
Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol
Israel. Amen.
Oseh Shalom Limrama
Shalom Bimrama.
Shalom Aleinu V'Al
Say
Kol
shalom.
Yisrael
Israel. Behold Yoshua. Amen.
Amen.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you are leaving us now, hope you'll join us tomorrow or any day this week. This is our theme for the week. Hope today will lay the foundation for a full week of practice. If you would like to join us, but you can't for any reason, just a reminder that all the sessions are live streamed as well on our YouTube channel. Recordings are posted there as well, so you can always come back to the practice or revisit this one if you'd like to at any time. You're invited to stay on, and you can use this time till the bottom of the hour to stay with your practice if you'd like, just to keep sitting on that still lake that's not going anywhere. You're welcome to do that, or if you'd like to offer a question or reflection in the chat, I will keep an eye on that, try to respond to questions or elaborate. I do have a poem that I would like to share that's also on the sheet, and I'll read it now. It's a Mary Oliver poem. It's always perfect for the theme of gratitude, of being with things as they are, and this is a very well-known poem by Mary Oliver called Mindful, and I'll just close this part with this poem by her. Every day, I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. So it's a beautiful poem about, as she describes it, just the mundane, about losing ourselves in the softness of the world. It's just a beautiful poem to cap our practice today. So I'm just going to take a look to see if you have a question. Please write question in all caps so I can respond to that. And oops. Thanks everyone for the kind words. I do want to revisit this idea from Sheila Weinberg about Dayenu. I hope that resonates with people. I know the first time I read that, I thought, oh, I never really paid attention to Dayenu. Oh, Susan, I see you have a hand up, but if you don't mind putting in the chat, that would be great, because we in general don't unmute people because there's so many, and just to protect people's privacy. But if you don't mind putting it in the chat, I'll keep an eye out for that. So this teaching of Dayenu from Sheila, that reminder that, and it's not an easy thing to do, but to have at least an aspect of ourselves that is mindful to just be with things as they are without judgment in the moment. And I'm going to come back to this theme, I think probably tomorrow. A dear friend of mine, a wonderful teacher of song and singing as a practice, David Brunetti, taught me a very, very simple practice that we'll be using tomorrow and probably coming back to throughout the week. Let me make sure I got it right. I wrote it down, but it's simple, but I may forget it. David boils it down to these words: now, here, this. Yes, perfect, thank you. That's with a period after every word. I'll try to put it in the chat. Let's see if I can do that. It's a practice I learned from him that it's not always, it can be a challenging practice, but it is a very nice, simple reminder to integrate into our daily lives amidst all the worry, anxiety that is stirred up, that is a necessary part of life for us to get to work in the world, whatever we are working on, whether it's ourselves, our lives, our world, our family, our country, our community, our that we integrate into that the capacity to be with things and with each other and with ourselves exactly as we are, or it is right in the moment. Because as you know, as we know, in the moment, nothing can be other than what it is. So I love that very simple mantra, now, here, this. And then to really allow that to be by saying, yes, this is true right now. It's perfect as it is right now, even if it isn't pleasant. Thank you. So I just wanted to share that. I really enjoy spreading that, and also to throw into the mix that it's a wonderful aspect of Jewish mysticism, especially in Kabbalah, where one of the names for God, one of the names for the divine, literally is Zot, the Hebrew word which means this, which is associated with the Shekhinah, with the feminine aspect of God. I love the idea that this is God. This moment, the divine is present. So really, it's just a helpful thing to have, very helpful thing to have in the mix of what's going on in our minds and our bodies, especially when dissatisfaction fueled by anxiety and rejection of things as they are. This can't be, this can't stand, this is unacceptable. All of that can be true, and at the same time, in this particular moment, this specific moment, to use the cliched phrase, it is what it is in this moment, which is not to say that it is what it should be, but it can't be other than it is right now. And I'll just end with this piece too. I'll get back to it, Sarah, in a second. It makes me think as well of Sylvia Boorstein's teaching that I learned from her, that whenever she's asked, how is she, her response is, I couldn't be better. I couldn't be better. In this moment, I couldn't be better. I am exactly how I am right now. It's just another angle into the same practice. Okay, Ricky, I'm going to get to your question. Just Sarah asked, what was the name of God? The name of God was Zot, the Hebrew word, which means this. It's the feminine version of the word for this in Hebrew. It's associated with the sphera of Malchut, which is the final of the 7 lower sphirot, which is associated as well with the Shekhinah, the divine presence, which is understood as the feminine aspect of the divine. So I love the idea that if you want to find God, all you have to do is pay attention to this and this and this and this. It's one that it's a concept that Mary Oliver describes so beautifully in that poem. Okay, Ricky. Faithful Christian friend who has lived through many challenges says that when troubles come, that's exactly when one gives thanks. Why? Because God has implanted within me the strength to receive and survive it. Is there a parallel Jewish concept? I think there is. I don't know that there's that sense of, which can be a very problematic sense of God only gives us, what we can handle, right? Or something, if people are struggling with terrible burdens in life, what people unfortunately, in my mind, will say is, God only gives you as much as you can handle, or that is, for me, problematic, if not offensive. However, there is this sense, especially in the Jewish mystical tradition, of course, that God's in everything. The divine is in everything. That which we describe as good, that we just would describe as bad, and it's even in it's in the liturgy that we say at the first blessing of Yotzer, or the first blessing in the morning service after the Baruch Hu, the blessing that leads towards the Shema, Yotzer Or, Uvarei Choshech, Oseh Shalom, Uvarei Takol. God, where we praise God for creating light and darkness. Or Uvarei Choshech, Oseh Shalom, makes peace. Oseh Takol, and creates everything. God's in everything, which is a change from the original, which is even more extreme, which says Uvoreh et hara, that God is in that which we experience as ra, as bad, as problematic, as challenging. So I think we do have this concept, which many of us may struggle with. But I think this practice of Dayenu really takes out that, it eliminates a little bit that sense of causation, that is, that God is, this is God's will, that this is bad or challenging. God is sending you a test. Of course, that idea is present in Judaism as well. But we also have this sense of whatever comes our way, God is there for us. And I too would like to understand that as God is there to support me, or support you, or support everyone who is moving through something that we experience as challenging, anything from mildly annoying to one of the great challenges of life, major illness, tragedies, tragic loss, etc. That there's a comforting presence there as well. So in that Dayenu practice, I think of meeting each moment fully. And I'll quote our friend Sylvia Borstein once again here as we come to a close. Sylvia teaches beautifully, has this beautiful intention in meditation practice and in life. May I meet this moment fully. May I meet it as a friend, which we might be able to, interpret, understand as that this moment can be our friend, that we bring a kindness to the moment, and that we can experience this moment radiating a kindness or friendliness or love towards us as well, even in the midst of life's challenges. So let's end here, friends. Looking forward to, I'm sorry, I can't scroll fast enough to move through all the messages, but I appreciate your appreciation. I appreciate the ability, the opportunity to share this practice with you, and I look forward to sitting on our still lake, not going anywhere, with no wind, and cultivating still waters within us all week long. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Many thanks to Kat for holding our space, as she does most days so beautifully. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Our friend Rabbi Josh Fagelson will be hosting and lead us in the practice again. And we hope to see you tomorrow, if not sometime soon. Many blessings for a day of Dayenu.